Welcome,
Jared, I'm so sorry.
welcome,
Dude, I'm sorry.
welcome to episode 7 of the Ready. I'm keeping all that in there. It's all in. It's all
Part 3, episode 7, part 3.
We have restarted this podcast 3 times. Nick almost died. Then he was smacking his microphone.
Okay, listen, I wasn't smacking my microphone. My pop filter kept like barely tapping it.
I was trying to look past it, and it just kept happening. Well,
I'm sorry.
You know, to just kind of, we were talking about April Fool's jokes, right? Let's just jump into it. Talking about April Fool's jokes, video game news, how all this is like the worst possible time in video game news, and trying to cover it is because there was a couple of them that I actually got really excited about, wrote them down, and then started to look into them and was like, oh, this sucks. So what would have been an hour and 30-minute long episode is now probably one of the shortest episodes we're going to do, because it was all fake.
Yeah, it was. We got just a ton of...
Got bamboozled.
Yeah.
Absolutely bamboozled. But one of the really good ones was Sony purchased Rockstar. Well, Nick said he heard that Sony purchased Take-Two.
No, I heard they got From Software.
Oh, they got From Software.
Yeah, that's the article that I saw.
Oh.
Until I was like, wait, what day is it?
Well, see, then I heard that Sony had purchased Rockstar from Take-Two.
Mm-hmm.
So we had From Software getting bought, and then there's no shot they could buy From Software right now.
Dude,
Zero chance, dude.
I was so excited to talk about that.
I know, I would have been great. And then Rockstar, I was like, oh, that's a good purchase, right? Like that's one I could see Sony going after. Then obviously Ghost Simulator, the musical motion picture, directed by Steve-O, dude. I was so hype. I pulled out my credit card, dude, and I was like, give me tickets.
Which, you know what? Like, if there's enough demand for it,
that I feel, you know what's the funny thing is I there's some like intern that was like, guys, I got a great idea. Ghost Simulator movie. And they're like, all right, you know what? Put it out on Twitter. If it gets enough support, we'll make it.
I mean, we got Paramount working on the Halo television show, and then
you're
HBO.
Getting ahead of yourself, sir. We're going to talk about that, actually. That's going to be pretty exciting. I've not watched it yet, but I already have an opinion, just like you should. Don't research anything. Don't watch it for yourself. Make an opinion by the internet.
Yeah.
It's a great way to live. Listen to us, right? So February 2022, Elden Ring, smash hit.
Absolutely.
Game of the year.
Surprising, absolutely no one.
Yeah, literally, absolutely nobody. But the thing that was cool about this article is talking about like all the best-selling games of the year so far is the video game industry, $4.6 billion in total sales, dude. Video games are becoming... That's not $4.6 billion total sales for Elden Ring. That would be crazy.
That'd be nuts.
That'd be insane. But no, like overall, like the just video games in general are becoming such a huge part of everybody's life, and I love it. I love it. But I wanted to talk about this because we've got Elden Ring at number 1. We got Horizon Forbidden West number 2, Pokemon number 3, Dying Light 4, Total Warhammer 3. Somehow Call of Duty Vanguard's up there, and then this is what makes me mad.
Yeah.
Madden 2020 or Madden 2022, FIFA 22. Then shout out Minecraft still going strong, and then at 17th, NBA 2K22. Stop buying them. We're not going to get into that today. This is a good episode. This was lighthearted, right? Like we're having a good time today. I'm not going to get into the rant.
We already know, like they know how we feel about EA.
They know how we feel, but I'm going to get out of it.
EA will feel... EA probably knows how we feel about EA at this point.
They probably got like some dude that sits down like a computer and like he goes through like all of the hate talk of like EA and sports games. And he's just like, next. It's
just chipping away at his soul.
Yeah, because that's literally... I will never have a good thing to say about sports games.
I do have to say, like, I am a little surprised that, like, even Breath of the Wild is still on there. That came out in what, like 2016?
Well, I think people are getting ready for
The sequel.
the sequel that is now pushed back.
Yeah, which
We talked about that in the last episode a little bit, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
pushed back.
like I can understand Minecraft because like when you look at um video games as like what's been the most successful game, I think Minecraft has been the most downloaded video game ever.
I still enjoy Minecraft. It's still a fun
Yeah,
thing to play.
it's a good time.
But yeah, I just wanted to, bring up the fact that like Elden Ring is definitely, if it doesn't get game of the year, then something's wrong with everybody, right? Because it should. It definitely
Well,
is. Of the games I've played so far, it's only April,
it'll
but the games I
probably
played,
if anything, it'll probably get player's choice.
but it should be game of the year every
Yeah.
way around, right?
Well, we do still have God of War Ragnarok coming out this year, right?
We do, but I don't. Well, actually, I don't know.
That, that's the only like actual competition I could see for Elden Ring for this year.
Speaking of God of War, God
Mhm.
of War TV show adaptation. This is why I said we'll talk about these shows. God of War TV, or the God of
Oh,
War TV show adaptation, might be heading to
nice
Prime
transition.
Video. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the new? Because it used to be you make a show or you make a movie about video games, right?
Right.
It's going to do terrible.
Well, um, I remain really cautious when it comes to this kind of thing. Like a lot of like for the most part, um, you have people who will make these shows or these movies who don't really have a deep appreciation for the source material, and that usually leads to the
Halo.
downfall. Yeah. Which but you have movies like Detective Pikachu or Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that's about to come out. Um that prove that you can make video game based movies or TV shows, and they can be good. It just the people who work on it have to have like a love and appreciation for that source material. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to keep my expectations low so I'm not disappointed because it has a lot to live up to.
It does, but this is also going back to or talking about, God of War. The story is ripe for a movie or a TV show, so I understand them wanting to make it. And you know, the writer of this, um, has worked on Wheel of Time, wrote one of the Iron Man movies, I think it was. Yeah, the
Hmm.
original Iron Man film, right? So I think it'll be okay. The only problem is like the same thing with like Halo and why I didn't really want to watch Halo, even though I have like we've got play our Xbox Game Pass, so we have Paramount Plus for free for like 3 months or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Uh, is I already heard before it even came out that they said they weren't sticking to the lore, or they didn't even play the games.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
What
like
was it?
what?
they they were literally like what was it on Twitter? They're, like what is the absolute worst thing that we could possibly say? It's like we didn't even look at or talk about the games,
Like
and then you lost me immediately.
the only reason the games or your show would even be popular is because of the people who play the game.
Right. Well, I
So
guess it's kind of like uh the Witcher series in a way. Like the first season one of The Witcher was pretty good, but it's like they were like, "Oh, we're not going to follow the games, we're going to follow the books." But the books were all from the perspective of Geralt, and it feels like of all the characters that they follow throughout the series, he gets the least amount of screen time when compared to like Ciri or Yennefer. So,
but at
and
least the Witcher show is good.
yeah. Well, I heard season. I haven't actually myself. I have not seen season 2, but I've heard. I guess mostly mixed stuff, but I heard it's definitely taken like a nosedive compared to season 1.
Well, I think, when you're dealing with when you're dealing with games or TV shows or movies based around like something that's established, right?
Hmm.
So whether it's like comic books with the Marvel DC stuff, or whether it's Halo or The Witcher or book series, right? because the Wheel of Time, everybody was really, really mad that it didn't follow the books. I actually enjoyed the Wheel of Time. I think it's a great show, but um, you run into problems. So I hope that with this show they follow the games, and I hope that it's the new God of War, right? Like I hope they don't. Not necessarily saying I wouldn't enjoy to see like God of War and God of War 2 and all those to be adapted into a video game or into a TV show, but I would love to see like what's going on now in the games, like the Nordic
Yeah,
stuff. Like I really
I feel
enjoy
like
that.
most people would prefer that. The only downside would be because we have that um those previous games with Kratos and we know where he's coming from. I feel like it gives his character a lot more weight in the new series.
Yeah, so I hope, we'll see. Well, we'll see what they do with this. I think it's probably very, very 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 early on. If this is true at all, right?
Hmm.
So, we'll see. And then the last bit of news we have before we get into really the reason we're posting this podcast is to talk about what we're going to be doing in the future. A Fortnite was apparently good again. I missed that.
Yeah, they. I mean, I've never really kept up. I literally played the game like twice, and I was just like, "That this isn't for me."
So they took out building, like the whole building mechanic. The whole reason that the game was as popular as it was originally is because people liked the building. But I guess apparently it's not fun to run around and shoot at somebody and they build like a 30-foot skyscraping behemoth in the sky
Yeah, it's
and then
actually
drop
pretty
down and shotgun on
interesting
you.
that like the sort of sales pitch for the game now is like, hey, we removed like pretty much the thing that
That
set
got
us
you to
apart.
start playing. Yeah.
Yeah, like we took out this pretty much the biggest feature of the game. Uh which is like really it's that is a gutsy move.
But apparently it worked out. Like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about it. They ended up adding the zero build is now a permanent mode in the game. So obviously they added building back. So building being taken away was
Yeah, that was never
for
going to be
it was
that was
for
never
the
gonna be.
season. It was like the story of that season.
Mhm.
I didn't follow it. I don't know enough about Fortnite. I just thought it was cool, so we'll talk about it. But I'm obviously I'm not a big Fortnite player. But from what I understand, it was a part of the season.
Man, I
They
got you got
removed
to
it,
respect that decision though. Like
dude.
for
I'm
them to
gonna.
do that.
I don't really enjoy Fortnite as much as a lot of people. I mean I played it for
Mhm.
a while, but Fortnite, their business sense and the way that they go about like the big events they have in the game, like Marvel, DC, like anime stuff, like they get all these like partnerships. They're I mean it's one of the greatest games when you got to talk about like longevity and things that happened in a game. Like I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I respect the fact that uh it's one of the greatest
Yeah.
games. Like it
They
really is.
like I'm in the same boat as you where it's just like I said, I've only played the game twice. So like I figured, this is not for me, but yeah, you have to respect their business sense. They found their niche and they are catering to those players that enjoy that. And turns out there's a lot of them. So very well done,
That
Epic.
game, I think it'll never die. I really do. I
Doesn't
think
seem
Fortnite will
that
always
doesn't
be
are
relevant.
it it'll probably outlive us all.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty all the news. The big reason we wanted to do this episode is to talk about kind of the future of the podcast and the future of our YouTube, TikTok,
Should ready set
Instagram.
lag as a whole.
Yeah, so we originally when we started doing the podcast, which when was the first episode of the podcast put out?
Oh Lord.
February 16th. So not too long ago. But we had a lot of ideas. We had a lot of plans, things that we wanted to do, but we kind of our ambitions were too high for two people to do. Right? Like
Mhm.
there was no way for us to do all the things that we wanted to do in the time frame that we had. So we were always going to do a podcast. The podcast was always going to be something that was going to be a part of the company and the all that kind of stuff. Like But the podcast was not going to be necessarily based around video games. The podcast was going to be just kind of us just talking about whatever we wanted to talk about, more of like a if you wanted to get to know us, listen to the podcast. But if you just wanted the gaming news and the reviews and all that kind of stuff, then go follow us on Twitter and go subscribe to us on YouTube. Go check the website and the articles and all that kind of stuff. Well, we've kind of gotten the podcast down in a sense of the time that we allot to the podcast. So what we're going to be doing from here on out is we have shortened uh the duration of the podcast. So it'll be around 30-ish minutes. Um it might be lower than that. It might not be as long as that, but or it might be a little bit longer depending on what we're talking about. And the game reviews, we're going to still talk about them in the podcast. You're still going to get the score. We're going to give you like maybe like a short pros and cons list or whatever it is that we feel about the game. But the full length reviews are now going to be fully edited and uploaded to YouTube. So if you guys want to watch that, then definitely go to www.readysetlag.com and you will see all of our socials on there. Hit YouTube, go over there, subscribe, and we will be doing that. I think, what did we say? The first one's going to be Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, which I am like we're both almost done with.
Yeah, we're very,
I would
very
I would
close.
have been done by now. I had some technical difficulties here recently. Like I had no access to my computer, but I'm all good now. Ready to finish Ghostwire Tokyo, get that review out as soon as we possibly can.
And also, it gives us the opportunity as well to, because we're going to be doing the podcast a shorter duration, kind of like instead of maybe talking about as many articles as we do, maybe just picking the ones that we are particularly like really, really want to talk about. Then at the end, we're still going to do the anime stuff on here whenever Turk's free. We're still going to be having that on here as well. Eventually, I would love to move that to the YouTube and actually have videos recorded, have Turk record the videos and post them on the YouTube. And then eventually, depending on how this goes, either we'll start another podcast for like us just talking, like whatever we want to talk about, movies or life or whatever it is, and then keep this podcast the way it is with the news for people who enjoy listening to podcasts and they want the gaming news through a podcast. We'll kind of figure that out. We'll kind of see what we want to do. But I love to
Yeah.
edit. I love to like the production of a video. So we really wanted to start doing that. And putting those full length reviews on YouTube. But if you are just somebody who likes to listen to podcasts, because I know there are many of you, we will still be giving the scores for the games. We'll still be telling you if they are worth your money, and we will still be covering the news on the podcast. We're just going to be trying to do some other stuff on the other platforms. And we shrunk the duration because we don't have a lot of time. Like we can't do an
Yeah.
hour and 30-minute long podcasts and then also have the time to edit and record, write the scripts for the reviews. We won't have time to do it, right? The podcast is unscripted, by the way. So not that you
Yeah.
probably didn't
We
think it ever was, but
um we just want to let you know that we are dedicated to moving forward and evolving. We want to make this whole thing RSL as big and as great as we possibly can.
the day that I can put all of my time, or at least, like the 8-12 hours a day into content and into the podcast and into the website and into the YouTube and the social media and stuff like that. Like we're very, very passionate about this stuff. We're obviously still very, very new. I mean, we're only
Yeah.
7 episodes in. We're still
Still
trying
trying to
to.
figure
I'm
everything
pretty
out.
sure earlier on I burped into my microphone, right? Like and I'm not editing that out. Like you guys are just gonna have to listen to that, right? But
This is all real.
we only stopped the last podcast because Nicholas almost died.
Yeah, I almost choked to death.
But other than that, this is how we feel. We're not professional journalists. We're not I mean, I have a little bit of experience like with streaming on Twitch and doing that kind of stuff, like some of the audio stuff. Hopefully, the microphone sounds great. I worked on it for 2 days and then just bought another microphone. So,
That's how
that'll be
dedicated we are.
I'm trying to get everything to
As
be the
perfect as
best
we
it
can.
can. Yeah. Because the thing is like a lot of this podcasting, YouTubing, streaming, I tell everybody that it's 80% hard work and 20% luck. But if you don't put the 80% hard work into it and you get the 20% luck, doesn't matter. You got to put all the hard work in you can, and we're trying to do that. So definitely tell your friends about the podcast. Definitely tell anybody on social media that you think would enjoy the podcast and want to listen. Uh, definitely let them know. And follow us on Twitter. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Is it following on TikTok? I don't know. Something.
I don't.
Whatever
I
it
don't know.
is.
We got it. We got a TikTok.
We have that. We got a Facebook. I haven't logged into Facebook since my grandma got one. Back in
We got Atmosphere.
we have Atmosphere,
We
just
do.
like Elden Ring. But yeah, this is like I said, this will be a short episode. We really wanted to get this one out to talk about it. And then also with the next podcast, like we'll obviously be going more into the news. Hopefully we will have the infamous controversial Attack on Titan review that Turk will be putting on for us. Also, well, okay, hold on. No. I'll save it for the next one.
Okay.
Some Attack on Titan stuff. But once again, appreciate you guys so much. Go to the website, click all the socials, and what if you feel that you like the podcast the way we're doing it, or you wish we would make it longer, or whatever it is, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from you, especially on Twitter. That's probably where we're the most active. That's where we check it every day, get the notifications to my phone.
That's actually one big thing for RSL. It's like we want this to be very community. I'm sorry, that's my phone. I forgot
Oh
to
my
mute it.
God.
I'm so sorry.
But yeah,
We
Twitter,
wanted to, we want it to
Atmosphere.
be, we want it to be very community oriented. We want you guys to be as involved as you possibly can be. So please, shoot us a message, give us some advice if you want. Like if there's anything you want to hear about, let us know.
Give us your opinion on games, right?
Yeah.
Like I
wanna
said,
hear from you.
I said this earlier. Like if you don't agree with the score we give, send us a message and I'll ignore it and do it anyways. So you know what I mean? Like we're very, we're very open to discussion.
We're listening.
Yeah, we're listening. Doesn't mean that I'm going to do what you say, but we're listening, right?
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate everybody who downloads these podcasts and who listens to us. This is kind of a big deal. This is something we've been working on or had the idea of for. And if you listen to episode 0, you know about like how long we talked about this and like the big dreams we have for RSL. And I appreciate everybody who's been a part of it. I appreciate everybody who listens. Go subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook if you still use it. Right? We post on there, right? We do that.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah, we post on. Yeah, we post on Facebook.
I do that.
We got an Instagram. We got Atmosphere. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening.
Love you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.